We were waiting for you. Just kidding. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We're going to call the meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order at 7:04 p.m. As you can see, we have a very robust agenda for this. I'm sorry. Now that the meeting has been called to order, I'm going to ask Madam Clerk to call the roll.
Trustee Burns?
Yes, here.
Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Sapp?
Here.
Trustee Sterling?
Ready.
Thank you. So, as I was saying, as you look at the agenda, you see we have a very, very robust agenda for this evening. And I know last week I promised that we would not stay until 10 o'clock tonight. So please, speakers, help me and those who have to offer public comment, please help me to keep my promise from last week, okay? We won't be here to 10 o'clock. But moving on, we're gonna go toward discussion and presentation. And can you get another? I've called the first discussion first, so can we do that at item number 10, where it's located? Thank you. So the first one is Commander Jack Evans and Commander Chris Mizak. And you're going to discuss body cameras. Turn it on. Did it turn green? Push it up. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and trustees. The reason why we're here is we are up on our 5-year term for our contract that we had with Axon, and it is time to be renewed. The contract that we do have now is going to expire in July of this year. So the new contract that I've been working on with Axon is a little bit more than the previous contract due to the fact that the first contract that we had, body cameras were new and we didn't really know what we were going to need. So with the body cameras, we're doing the same amount of cameras, but we're adding, I believe, 3 new pro licenses, which gives the supervisors and detectives a little bit more access to what the system can do, and we are moving towards unlimited storage, because the previous storage that we have, we are already over, and there are things that, I mean, 5 years is a long time there's things that we cannot delete due to cases and case law, and there's still things that are in evidence that we can't get rid of. So that thing is, so storage is just going to keep going up. So that was one of the things that I changed with the storage on the body cams. One of the things I found out while doing this is I tried to bundle our tasers into this, which is going to be a lot cheaper, because we have 16 officers, we only have 12 tasers, and 2 of them are in evidence. So not every officer has a taser. While looking at this, our tasers, the ones that we have are majority from 2011. Obviously, you know, with anything with technology and the efficiency of them is they could break at any time. We do not have warranties on those. So with this proposal, we'll be selling back several of the tasers. We're only gonna be keeping the 5 that we bought in 2021. And we're gonna try to get 7 of the newer tasers, Taser 7s with this, and they will be shared with the officers. And with the new Taser 7s, the accuracy is a lot more, the batteries are recharged. Once you plug in the batteries, it all downloads, so you don't need one officer to download it. And with this, everything that we need for the tasers comes with it. All the training cartridges, I don't know the exact number, you can look. It comes with all replacement charges, batteries, all that is included. Another thing that we want to add with this quote is our Axon VR, which is a training system. We have a training system that goes along with the tasers, and with all the new Safety Act, there's a lot of training that we have to do that sometimes we can't get officers to. So this is an in-house training method that we can get some of the things and the hours that we need in-house. So they can do it on their shift. So that's what that brings. The other program with this bundle is the Axon Standards. So what that is, it's a program to streamline everything that we have in the department. So the benefits is it's basically transparency. The community, everything is uploaded into there. All of our use of force, all the taser, all the body camera is uploaded in there. All our forms that are on paper are uploaded onto there. It gives us data on certain things that we put in there, the case management. It basically gets streamlined all our workflow that we have on different systems now. And then the last thing is that's bundled into here is the community request. So basically now when an officer gets, if he's on a case and people have video, everybody has video, ring cams, stuff like that, they have to get in their email. So what this does is it's a one-stop shop evidence collection. So the officer gives them like a code, and everything is uploaded to our evidence.com. So there's no, oh, I forgot to upload it. It's everything just goes there, and the chain of custody for the evidence is secure. Also with this too is if we need help with the public, we have a case or there's a major case or something, and we don't know all the witnesses, we can actually e-blast, Facebook, put something up to give the residents a code, and then they can actually upload things to the evidence.com where the investigators can go through and see what's relevant and what's not. So those are the things that are bundled in this proposal. And what's with this proposal too is, so once it's decided and we get all new equipment, so after 2.5 years of this contract, at the 2.5 year mark, they send all brand new equipment out. So it's always the newest updated version of everything. It's all under warranty up to the 5 years of the length of the contract. And with this, if you broke all this down, the cost savings of this proposal is about $70,000. You're saving probably about roughly $14,000 a year going with this, where you're paying. I know it's a 61 month contract, so every year you're paying a certain portion of the total cost.
Are there any questions? Trustee Burns?
Good evening, Officer Mazak. So, one question I do have is, how often can we request to see body cams, the footage?
That could be for you, and then determine on what you're actually reporting, depending on what's under investigation. It could be downloaded, yeah, for you.
So we have to FOIA, we can't just come and speak to the chief commander and just ask for it?
Yes.
So it must be FOIA, okay?
Trustees have to FOIA?
We shouldn't have to, that's why I'm asking.
It's going to, depending on what you're asking for, like if you're asking for a case that is ongoing, yes. Because we can't give that to you, we wouldn't be able to give you an ongoing case. So, and plus, all the time it takes to, there's certain things that have to be redacted from a, not redacted in the video, but there's certain things that cannot be shown. Like that we have to physically go through that, like you can't see MDD terminals if they're juveniles, if there's plays, there's certain things by law that we can't show on that. Like you've seen on the news or YouTube videos, you'll see that sometimes things get blurred out. We actually have to go in and do that.
So you're saying we only have to FOIA in the event that it's an active case, correct? If it's not an active case, we can just come into the police station? Okay. And then you said there's 61, this package that you're asking for is 61,000?
No, the total cost of this 5-year contract is $254,916.87, and it is broken down into our 5 years. So every year would be $50,760.95.
50,716?
$50,760.95.
And this is every year
Correct.
for 5 years?
Correct.
And do you have this listed, because you read us 2 different packages?
No, this is everything that I read you. I was able to get bundled into one contract.
And is it any way that we can have a copy of what you have at the bundle, what that includes?
So I gave packets.
No, I didn't. I just checked my mailbox.
Do you have your meeting packet?
This is a,
Do
oh,
you have your
everybody had
meeting
one.
packet? Where's your meeting packet?
Yeah.
You don't have a meeting packet?
No, I don't have a
Check
meeting
your
packet.
box.
I just checked, it was empty.
Everybody had one?
I can get you another copy.
Here we go again. Here, I have plenty. I might even have an extra one. I do. I have an extra one in here. They have one, though, I promise. Yep. But you do have a packet of everything else.
No, she said she
No packet at all. Well, we got a packet thief again. I don't know who it is, but yes.
Right, they're taking turns. We're
Yes.
sorry, sir, to detract from you, but, okay. Do you have any other questions, Trustee Burns? Trustee Sapp? Anyone else?
You were talking about with the 2-year mark, they'll give you new devices, right?
Yes.
Is that included? Is the warranty that's taking care of that?
Yes. Once, say if we cite this, once we get received all the new equipment, so we would get all the equipment that we have, all the body cameras, we would get the new equipment and we'd send that back. Once we receive the new equipment, 2.5 years from that, we get all new cameras, all new tasers, all new charging stations, all new training cartridges, anything that goes along with the equipment.
And that's what the warranty is covering, that part?
Yeah, and if something does happen within that 2.5 years, we can send it out and fix it.
Okay, I have another question. With the VR systems, as you said, that's for your training for in-house. How often will you be doing that? Is that a regular occurrence for your training?
Yes, once, if this goes through, we would like to, we would
would like to do at least an hour a month per officer. And that would be over the standard of what is required.
Would you say that this is the Cadillac of their system? And if it is, what happens if we need to ask for different entrees that's not all included in the full package?
Everything that I've read off to you is pretty much everything they offer.
So do we need everything that they offer? I guess that's what I'm saying.
It would,
It's, the price is, it's a little expensive.
yes.
And considering that we don't have a budget at this point, but hopefully by the end of July we will. And I know the importance of the work that you do. I understand the importance of your having the necessary tools to do your job, to perform your job to the greatest extent possible. I also know that where technology is concerned and items that we buy for the police department definitely exceeds what we pay for other equipment in other departments. And so that's how come I'm asking, is all of this that's within this package essential to the well-being of our officers?
Yes. Because I've been actually working with the Axon rep since January. And there's been several things back and forth, and I've tried to keep everything that we need, because I know it is a heavy price, that we believe that is essential. The first quote that I got, I'm kind of even embarrassed to read it when I first started, but I'll tell you, and I'll show you how much I've actually cut, was $427,000.
So you had them cut almost double.
Yes. So I basically left everything that we believe is essential.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Commander Mizek, I'm sorry.
Speaking on what Madam Mayor was saying about, like, things that they give you any options as far as any kind of flexibility on payment options or anything, or grants or anything, maybe, or that you worked out, that was as far as they were able to go with.
That is basically it's a one-time. Per year.
I know, and thank you for mentioning that, I really appreciate that, because I did come across a grant, I believe it was last week, and I emailed the grant information to Commander Evans. Did you guys have an opportunity to look on that?
I received your email, but we haven't had a chance to really dig into it.
I think that it would be advisable, because that's a grant that's providing you some of the same equipment that you're asking for. I didn't go all the way through it, so I am going to ask that you look at that, see what is involved in applying for that grant. Will they assist us with this price? And then if that's the case, then let's come back together and discuss it again. And after we determine how much we will need to pay and how much the grant will provide. Is that okay, Benjamin?
So we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it, but, I know it's,
And that's why we need to get on. Right, right, because it does. But then if it's the exact same equipment that you're asking the village to pay for. So if we can get another entity pay for it, I would rather do that. But naturally, I want you and your officers to be cared for. I want our residents to be cared for. So I definitely see the need for body cameras. I definitely see that need. And
Yes.
it's required, but I see the need as well. Okay? So, and I really, I don't want to say too much more than that. Okay, let's see if we can get some of this. Is that clear? Thank you. Did you have something else to say? Okay.
Curious if Axon is the only network system available with this equipment, or if there are other resources that you could maybe do a price comparison.
Yes, there are other, companies that do body cameras. I would strongly refrain from going to another because we already have 5 years of information with Axon. Even if we went to another body cam, we're still gonna have to pay for all storage for everything that we've already used. And I kind of know where you're going with this, it's cheaper price. We've done this with our gas system, where we have a gas system, and it's something cheaper, and then we get that gas system, and we still have to pay for this one. Now we're on our 4th gas system, and 2 of them we can't even access them before the second one because either our licensing is gone and all that is lost.
Any other questions at this point? So, let's take a moment. I'm sorry.
Have you guys, have the police department ever applied for grants in the past?
We have,
You have?
yes.
And were you successful in receiving that grant?
Some of our flash cameras are on the grant.
And does the police department have a person who actually write the grants? So even if you did look into the grant, you would need a grant writer?
Not necessarily, a lot of
Depending on
times.
how complex they wanted it.
Okay, okay, well, let us know as soon as possible, because if we have to get one, then we need to start looking into that as well. Thank you.
Trustee Rice. Any questions for us or any recommendations or considerations? Thank you for your time. And we look forward to a follow-up soon. Moving on, we have our engineer, Melanie Arnold from Robinson Engineer, to discuss a resolution authorizing the adoption of the updated Cook County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. Good evening, Melanie. That was a mouthful.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, and Board of Trustees. Thank you for your time this evening. I'm going to be brief. I am here tonight to talk about asking to have placed on the next board meeting agenda a resolution to authorize the adoption of the update of the Cook County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. A very brief summary about hazard mitigation plans. The purpose of a hazard mitigation plan is to ensure that Cook County and all participating jurisdictions qualify for federal funding before and after a disaster occurs. If there's any kind of federal declaration, federal or state declaration of a disaster, if you're not part of an adopted hazard mitigation plan, you are not allowed to receive funding for disaster. So it is very important that the county or that the village take part in this hazard mitigation plan. And so, what is a hazard mitigation plan? According to FEMA, hazard mitigation is the effort to reduce loss of life and property by lessening the impact of disasters. It's most effective when implemented under a comprehensive long-term mitigation plan. State, tribal, and local governments engage in hazard mitigation planning to identify risks and vulnerabilities associated with natural disasters and develop long-term strategies for protecting people and property from future hazard events. And so Cook County was the lead on this project, and as they always are, along with 124 jurisdictions, one being Sauk Village, came together to work on the update, they do a 5-year update to their plan every year. So this was the 2024 plan update that we're going to be requesting that you adopt next week. There is the plan itself. There's 2 volumes. I couldn't print them out because they're about 400 pages each. But you can find them online if you go to Cook County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Volume 1 is the county-wide plan, and then Volume 2, there is a plan for each of the 124 municipalities. So Sauk Village does have its own annex. I do have a copy of that, and I'm happy to leave it with you guys. If you're interested, you can also find it online. And it's basically a 34-page document that just includes jurisdictional profile, capability assessment, natural hazard event history, hazard risk ranking, mitigation actions, and hazard mapping for the village. This effort was led,
I just want to.
sure. This effort was led by Chief Barrett, our fire chief. He was the liaison for the village and went to all the required meetings and helped the county update the village's plan. And so the resolution that should be in your packet tonight is based upon the template that is provided by Cook County for adoption. And so I just went ahead and completed that for Cook County, and I am asking for it to be placed on the May 27th, right? May 27th board meeting agenda. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that was a really quick overview, but
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Melody, can you give me that email? Is that address of?
oh, sure. You know what? I think if you just went to, I don't have it on me, but if you just go to Google and you just type in Cook County Hazard Mitigation Plan, click on it and it'll take you right there. You scroll down to the bottom of the page and you can click on Volume 1, and then if you click on Volume 2, you can scroll the 124 jurisdictions that, or municipalities that have participated are there. You just click on Sauk Villages and get a copy of this plan. Cook County Hazard Mitigation Plan, under the 2024 plan update.
Any other questions? It is our engineer's recommendation that we place this on the agenda for our next board meeting for consideration of adoption. So, if no one is opposed, we will put it on the agenda. Is anyone opposed? Will it be on the agenda?
Thank you. And I just wanted to add this. This is the last step in this multi-year requirement. The village would have to adopt the plan in order to be covered under the plan and to be able to receive federal funding in the case of a disaster. So I appreciate your time and thank you and have a good night.
I'm sorry, one moment.
No, not at all. No.
You don't have to turn it off. Thank you so much. Okay, I am on the agenda next. Know that I've been attending meetings upon meetings upon meetings for new elected officials, some were for new mayors, and there seems to be one thing in common with most of the training and with people communicating about the finances, and that is most of our municipalities are moving away from having a treasurer, simply because usually the finance director, who's always responsible for it all, end up doing the bulk of that work. We've not had a treasurer now for I don't know how long, and before that, about a year. It's been about a year, and before that, we didn't have a treasurer for a long period of time either. The last treasurer we had, if he lasted 3 months, that was doing something, and if he gave us one report, that was another. So even though we don't have an exact ordinance that is stated the treasurer, we have different officers and positions within an ordinance, and so I just wanted to bring to you for your consideration to think about how can we exist without a treasurer, even though we've not had one for forever. Okay? That's all I want to say about that. Now, I would like to revisit the standing committee discussion. Trustee Williams, would you pass yours down? Would you pass yours down? And at the time that I presented it before, there was a little unrest. In fact, there was a lot of unrest because a number of trustees who cared to express how they felt about the metrics with you. Know that what you have before you are the standing committees without the metrics, simply because we need this language for the standing committee in order to amend this particular code, and the metrics wouldn't go in there anyway. It would just be the descriptions that you see here. So that's why I am bringing it back to you, so that with the recommendation that we place it on the agenda for adoption, and by that time, I will have the actual amendment to the document that's needed. But we did not want to expend money with our attorney, having them to move forward with amending if we knew that there was still some unrest with the actual committees. Any feedback, any questions, any comments? Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying here, this is what the proposed thing is going to be without the SMART goals?
Exactly. Because the SMART goals do not go in the ordinance.
Okay.
This is what goes into the ordinance. So we can play around with and entertain SMART goals, metrics, whatever it is that we would want to call it, to provide information that you can share with your committees in terms of what the expectation of your committees are. We can do that later. You know, we can work all of that out later. The ordinance needs to be amended so that you can get started on your committee work.
So this is the amended part. This is what you're asking to bring to the meeting for next week.
Exactly. It would be that with the amended ordinance. on top of it, and this would be the attachment.
And then it would be another discussion if we decide later on to do the SMART goals or no.
We can do that internally, yes, but that, we don't need that in the ordinance.
Okay, but you just want to do this to get it started.
Exactly, so that we have 3 trustees who have provided notification of the committees that they're interested in. I've not heard from all 5, but the 3 trustees who have already provided the notice are those who just so happen to be, I would call them veteran trustees. And I can recall when we spoke on this before, and I asked what system or method did you prefer to use in selecting, then a couple of the trustees felt or stated, I don't want to say felt, but stated that they thought that if someone was already had a particular committee and they wanted to retain that they should be able to retain the committee that they've started work on already, and or if they are an existing trustee, they should have preference, and no one negated them saying that, but that's neither here nor there, because the only ones that provided notification are the ones who were with us before April 28th. Okay? So there are a couple of others, and I mean, if you want me to share with you the committees that have been requested, I can do that. Or if you want to just communicate with me individually, I would love to communicate with you guys individually sometimes. And especially when I send emails, but we're going to talk about that a little later. So right now, I am asking that the proposed standing committees that require an ordinance for adoption be placed on the agenda for consideration. You will have the actual draft agenda, ordinance in your meeting packet on Friday. So you'll have an opportunity to see exactly where this fits. Okay? Thank you. What else? At one of those last meetings also, I provided a packet or information on proposed public participation and comments, and I asked that you review it so that we can come back and have a discussion about it. Hopefully, you have an opportunity to review that document, and I would like to open up the discussion. Does anyone have any comment, pro or con, against the document that I shared with you a while back that dealt with what and how we would want to handle public participation in comments moving forward? Any comments? You may not, but it's not the most efficient way to handle, not necessarily public comment, but it's participation as well. Please hear what I'm saying. Participation, we're looking at decorum. This is what I'm going to do, because this is not something that needs to be rushed to. I'm going to ask again that trustees go back to that document and read it, and let's be prepared to actually discuss it. You say that it was not just about public comment, okay? But where public comment is concerned, I will say this. One of the things
to stand and speak on the exact same topic. It is actually been covered already during that same session. So I am going to invite you guys to all go back
and look at that for me. And then the other one was giving our residents, when they walk in the door, an opportunity to learn and understand the rules of engagement when they're in the rotunda and when we're in meetings. Basically, it was letting everyone know that when you walk through the door, we respect you, and they must respect each other. They must respect one another, and they must respect each of the trustees and the mayor that's sitting up here as well. We will not have any of the hollering, the yelling, the name calling, almost getting to fights and all of that. We will be conducting ourselves in a very mannerable manner, and it was a document that we were going to have our residents read and sign off on to say that they agree to the way we're going to proceed forward. So I really think that we put a lot of time into that document, time and research. So I am, once again, I'm going to not talk on it any further, because as I said, we got a long way to go, and if we don't have the preparedness among the trustees that, and or the readiness to discuss it, I'm going to say, let's move forward. Is that okay? Or what you have to say, trustee, is very pressing, even though you don't know the document?
I do know the document, and that's why I said I didn't have any problems with how things are going now, except the fact that we made it very clear if there's disruptions, they will be removed. Trustees will be removed, or they can be fined. The only concern I have is that if we're limiting the residents from asking, I guess, a similar question, what if some residents come in later and they didn't hear other residents?
But they're going to still hear the answer.
Right, so are we saying that they can ask whatever question they want to ask, whether it sounds the same or not? Well, I mean, how will we stop them? How will we proceed with it?
We will say that something along the line, thank you for that comment. Know that the same issue has been raised, and we will be prepared to respond to that. Blah, 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 blah.
But they can still say.
They don't need to say, we don't need 10 people. We don't need, listen to this. We don't need 10 people to each have an opportunity to speak 3 minutes to say the exact same thing. Are we trying to limit or muzzle our residents? No, we're not. But if you do your research, you will see that it is standard operating procedures that 10 people don't say the same thing during public comment. But as I say, take some more time, do some research on your own, and let's not do this just by feelings. Let's be informed as we proceed forward. And I see that Trustee Johnson has her hand raised.
Legally, I don't think that we're not able to stop someone's comment. That's against the law, because you're going against their First Amendment right. So it could be 10, 20 people repeating the same thing. They have that right.
And
I'm also against having our residents come in and sign to speak, because we don't ever know how long public comments can be. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like we should be going against someone's First Amendment rights.
Thank you, and I thank you for sharing that piece with us. And again, just as I invited another trustee to do some research, I'm going to invite you to do so as well, so that you realize, look, I don't want another FOIA against me. I don't want PCA coming after me to have to explain my actions. I don't relish it, but it's happening. And for that reason, I invite all of our trustees, when it says discussion on the agenda, to please go and do your research then and bring it when it's time for us to discuss it, opposed to holding on to it now for more than 3 weeks, and we're still going with I think or I don't think. By now, let's do all of our research, because I've done mine. Give me a minute, I see your hand. I've done mine, okay? So, let's just practice preparedness. That's all I'm asking. Yes, Trustee Johnson.
When I said I think, I was being nice. But we all know our First Amendment right. I did my research, I got my information. I don't know if anybody else don't have it, but it's plain as day right here. When its first paragraph, it says, your First Amendment right.
What does it say about your First Amendment right?
You can tell them.
No,
This is
I don't
your
have the
board.
document that you're referencing.
Didn't you? Who created this then? Who created this?
May I see what you're looking at?
Sure can.
Okay. So really what she's looking at is the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, as well as the Open Meetings Act, okay? Yes. Okay? Not today, but from a couple of weeks ago. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
So I took offense to when you just said we're not coming prepared and we got to do our research. I always do my research. Let's get that clear. I always do my research. So I took offense to that.
And know that each time I say something, it's not necessarily applicable to each of you. It's not applicable. And if it's not applicable to you, then there's no need to take offense. Just know, okay, I see your hand. I see your hand. I haven't recognized you yet because I was still in the midst of talking, okay? So if it doesn't apply to you, don't get offended. But know that it may apply to someone, and just be cognizant of that, and just be patient with us. Okay, so you don't have to get offended, and we don't want you to be upset and offended at every meeting you attend. We would like for some of our meetings to be pleasant for all of us, because it can be pleasant and we can still take care of the business of the village. And we don't have to be hostile or upset, and I don't want you to get upset, Trustee Johnson. But you had something else you wanted to say?
Yes, because when you come back and rebuttal after I said what I made a statement on, that was directly towards me.
I think
And
that you
everyone
took
know without you even saying my name, because I was the only one that spoke on it. So, no. After she said something, you could have said something after her. You
Okay,
gave me the
but
floor,
you know
I
what?
said something, and you came
Okay.
back,
And
so
this
that
is what we're going
rebuttal
to do
was
at
towards
this
me.
point. Okay, and so what we're going to do at this point, we're getting ready to move on, and in this discussion, again, I'm going to say, and I'm going to ask, if you've not read the information, to do so, and let's be prepared to have a very positive discussion going forward. If we want our residents to be positive and uplifting or whatever, we have to mirror what our expectations of them are. let's move on. And we're going to bring up now Anthony Finch, who is acting in the capacity of our internal auditor. Ooh, you got a lot of paper.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, and residents of Sauk Village. The first item is a resolution authorizing the extension of the line of credit. Other than the new trustees, this is a resolution that has been done for the last several years. As of March of this year, the line of credit expired. It was supposed to be extended in April and has not been extended. So this is a resolution that's in your packet that has already been reviewed by the attorney. So we're asking that it goes on the agenda next week for a vote so that the line of credit can be made available. The line of credit potential, we're gonna have to start just bringing individual packets at board meetings.
It's kind of thin. I want cameras in the mailroom.
I don't know if that one is operating.
We're gonna have to get it out.
Does everyone else have that ordinance?
Yes. It's
Resolution, I'm sorry.
But everybody has. We gotta get cameras in the mailroom.
Can you pass me mine?
Thank you. I gave my packet to trustee.
Wait a minute,
Burns.
is that the right one?
No, this is the one for, I'll get you another one.
Do you have one, trustee? Okay.
I'll get you another one. Let's make sure she has one in her packet. Here you go, she needs one in her packet. You're welcome.
Thank you. So as I was saying, this is a resolution to extend, actually to reactivate the line of credit that expired at the end of March of this year. It's for $500,000. It has been used probably since 2020. So it's something that's not new. It's just something that has to be done annually. So hopefully you guys will.
Did you say it has been used or has not been used?
The line of credit is no longer available at this part of time.
Prior, it has been used every year?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I'm asking that it get the consensus to put it on the agenda for next week so you guys can vote on it, and the mayor can get it back to the individuals at the bank so the line of credit can be available hopefully by the first week of June.
He's recommended that it be on the agenda. Is that suitable for everyone? Before entertaining that, trustee Johnson?
I think we need to change something, a part of the adoption. It has our previous mayor on it, so this has to be changed.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions or comments? Pass it down, please.
So we will place that on the agenda to extend the line of credit. The next one is to review the financial policy.
So as many of you guys know, I have been involved with the village since 2018. And since 2018, there's been a task to approve the financial policies and procedures. It is something that is needed for the auditors. It is a finding that we get every year, that we get dinged on by the auditors. So I'm asking you guys to review this policy and procedures. It's very detailed. It covers a lot of items as it relates to finances of the village, how money should be handled, from debt, bonds, petty cash, credit cards, things of those natures that are definitely not being in compliance right now. So please review it. I'm asking, because it is 56 pages, that on June 17th, at the committee of the whole meeting on June 17th, if you guys have any questions, they will be answered and asked at that particular meeting on June 17th. And then at that point in time, I would have whatever revision that needs to be added so that it could get voted on June 24th. So this will give you guys about a month to analyze and review it. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can call me, email me, and just ask me anything. But I would like it to eventually get approved by the last committee meeting in June. Any questions?
Hearing none, I would say, I don't have a question, but I would say that I appreciate the fact that you are bringing it now with the idea that we will vote on it later. In the past, trustees would say that they never had enough time to review things so that they can make informed decisions. So I would ask that you continue this practice. It's very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The second thing is, for those that might remember, in 2023, there was a vote by the board to bring in an outside accounting firm to help with the audits. That vote passed, but unfortunately, the accounting firm, I should say, was not allowed to come in and assist the village to get caught up on the audits. As you guys know, we should be working on FY25 audit at this time, but we are still trying to complete FY21 audit. So in front of you is a proposal from Lauterbach and Amon. They are one of the well-respected accounting firm in Illinois. They definitely have expertise with pension funds. They are the auditors for the village pension fund at this time. So what they have proposed is that they will come in and get the 2022 audit ready by within 750 hours. They put their rate in there, which is roughly $150,000. If they get the audit done before they use up 750 hours, they will start on the FY 2023 audit. On the back side of this piece of paper is the cost analysis that I prepared for you guys. If you see, they are asking for $150,000 to do this audit. They have a team of individuals that have the skill set to do it. And I took the salary and benefit that we paid the former financial director / treasurer, as well as the benefit. And the word says senior account, that's supposed to be the treasurer position. So between the amount of money that was paid for the financial director, the treasurer, and the benefits, the difference between what I'm asking you guys to approve for Lauterbach and that salary and benefits is only $4,700. So basically what I'm saying, for a difference of $4,700, we can have an accounting firm come in and within 4 or 5 months get the 2022 audit caught up. The challenge of not having an audit caught up, as you guys have been made aware of, already we've lost over $1.3 million. We've lost, as of last week, I told you guys we had lost $350,000 for the IDA grant. When I spoke to the gentleman again, he informed me that we lost additional $200,000. I said before, when he talked about the $200,000, he said the reason we lost that was because nobody in the back will call him back. He set up several webinars for our staff to call them back just to tell them where they was at on the audit. And because we did not do that, we was not in compliance. So that's $550,000 that we have lost. And currently, IDOT is holding $800,000 of MFT money, which is, again, is for road and streets and potholes and things of that nature. So getting the audit caught up is very crucial. So again, $150,000 for a well-respected firm that have the staff, that have the training to come in and assure us that they will get it done within 4 to 6 months. Is only $4,800, roughly $4,800 more than what we paid the previous administration to get it done. So I'm asking for you guys to consider it. Also, the attorney has reviewed it. She has one line item change. In there it says something that is not to exceed 750 hours. She wanted to say not to exceed 750 hours for fiscal year 2022. So just a couple more wordings that she wanted to add in there. Also, the paragraph before the last, about the 12 months of not trying to solicit any of their employees. She wants that removed from this engagement letter. But overall, she's okay with the engagement letter. So those two items will be corrected before next Tuesday. Any questions?
Trustee Sterling?
Yes, for this accounting company here, was this the only one that we looked at? Was there several others we looked at before you decided to go with this?
In the past, we did do an RFP for several ones. At that time, Selden Fox was one that was approved, but as of right now, Selden Fox are busy. The current auditor firm, Baker Tilly, recommend Lauterbach and Amon as the firm to do it because they are experts in basically what they call bookkeeping from the accounting side of it. So to answer the question, this time around, they was the only one that I looked into because Selden Fox, when I reached out to them, was busy. So it was two of them. This is the only one that was able to have time.
So you looked at only two?
Only two, yes.
I'm thinking if you're looking for companies and business, you at least go at least 3 people.
Well, the problem you have right now at the time of year, because most municipalities are working on their audits and they are caught up, good audit firms are working with other municipalities. The challenge you're going to find is a firm that has staffing to do it. One of the challenges we have now, even with Baker Tilly, is because we waited so long to re-engage them. In American Testing, he has to rearrange his schedule. I've always said in the past, Sauk Villas is not their only client. So when Sauk Villas delayed a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, they still got to pay their staff. So they put their staff on another project. And then Sauk Villas get in line where they fit in. So Lauterbach is one of the ones that I did speak to. Like I said, I spoke to Selden Fox. They couldn't do it at all. Lauterbach was the only one that I know of that can do it that I spoke to. So we go out and get an RFP and do some other delay. It could be September, October before we get somebody even interested in it. So for the sake of time to get stuff caught up, I say because it's a reputable firm, it's not a fly-by-night firm, it's respected by IML, it's respected by GFOA, we should go with this firm just for the sake of how far behind we are and the fact that we're losing money because of our audits.
You were talking about the money that we're losing. What are you saying by what we're losing? And do we have documentation showing where we've lost?
Well, so for IDA grant, the IDA grants were provided and approved when I was here in 2022. So that's somewhere in the minutes that the village got approved for roughly. We got one portion of 125,000 that we did utilize. Then we got another portion of 330-some-thousand that we got approved, and then another, I would say 210. We only used a small portion of that. So to answer your question, yes, it's in the minutes that.
What month?
This is probably
about what month in 2022?
Between summer and spring, summer 2022 and spring of 2023. But I can get that off from IDA when they gave us award letters. If need be, I can ask him to put a statement that said because of the lack of responsiveness from the village, they took back the grant money. So it wasn't that we was applying for the grant. We received the grant. We just lost the grant because through several emails, and Trustee Sapp was there when he was on the phone, no one replied back to him to let him know what was going on with the grant. Did we need an extension? What we was at with our eye? So I can get that for you if you would like.
Yeah, if you can get that from me so we can see it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
The question I have is, I see that we do have the $800,000 that's on hold by IDOT. So now it's on hold, you know, in response to a trustee Sterling's question. It is on hold at this moment because we are not caught up on audits.
It's on hold because we're not in compliance with the 2022 motor fuel audit.
Correct.
One of the things, and I spoke with them this week, there's $115,000 that came to the village. We have to track that down. I think it went into the general fund. It should have went into the motor fuel fund account. As of this week, whatever reports that the village sent to him, it did not show $115,000 in motor fuel fund. We have to find that money. Otherwise, they're going to recoup that money either out of future money that we're supposed to have, or we're going to have to pay it back to them directly. So I believe it just was put into the wrong bank account, but again, no one replied back to him to tell him this is where it was at, and we're gonna transfer it to the appropriate account.
And so this $800,000 hold can only, they will return it back to us once we catch up on the MFT audit?
Yes, once we get full in compliance, he's supposed to be sending us, and I say us, myself and the mayor, a list of open items that have not been approved. I mean, that have not been finalized as of yet.
We are, anytime we are this far behind in audits, we can't get funds. Our funds are either held or we are not able to apply. Trustee Sterling. And I know for at least 2 years, we have not been able to get any federal funding either. And federal funding is the backbone of any municipality. So if we can't get money, federal money, it's very difficult for us to stay afloat. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for those comments. Anyone else have anything they would want to say?
Okay, the last portion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do. The $4,700 that you're asking for in order to start our audit with what is it, Labak? Lockbach. Okay, so is that something we would need to
No, so
be ready to approve?
Lockbach and Amon is going to be $150,000 to get this audit done.
Right.
What I'm saying, instead of having a finance director in that seat, let them come in with their staff of
Okay,
experts
gotcha.
and get it done, because we've been down that road and it's still not done.
Okay,
And
got
the
it.
difference between what they're asking for and what we was paying out is $4,700.
So they can be our director of finances in the interim,
Yes.
and do all the work that an actual director of finance should have done.
As it relates to the audit, yes.
Yes, okay, excellent, thank you.
Trustee Sterling?
So you saying that this person, she wants to bring her own people in,
No.
and I'm hearing you saying financial director.
So Lockbach and Amon is a big firm.
Right,
They have
I
a staff.
understand
They
that.
probably have 3 or 4 people on staff working on the 2022 audit. When we do the budget, my proposal is going to be, instead of having a finance director in that position, let Lockbach and Amon work on the audit. Because for the last 3 years, there have been a finance director, and we still not caught up in audit. Lockbach and Amon is saying, you pay us, which is a contract, we pretty much guarantee we're gonna get the 2022 audit caught up. Baker Tilly just came here about a month ago and said they've been working on 2021 for 2 years. Lockbach is saying 4 to 6 months, we're gonna get it done on 1 year, for fiscal year 2022. Instead of trying to figure out where we're gonna get the money from, I'm saying use the money that we've already expensed via the budget. Well, there's
We
no
don't have a budget.
That's another problem. But via what was already allocated and spent for a financial director, treasurer, use that money to pay for a firm to come in and at least get another year caught up. So now you want to be behind 23, 24, 25.
So you would use this company, but you're gonna X out having a financial director here with the village?
Yes. But that's all you would just really need is a senior accountant. And then once they get done, we could revisit, the board can revisit. Do you now hire a finance director and let them be responsible for the 23-24 audits, or do you continue with this path to get caught up? Because the way I look at it, the longer we don't get the audit current, the more money you're losing between either federal, state, or even going out, for instance, we can't go out and get a IEPA loan for the state to replace these outdated water meters. You can't get that if you're more than 2 years behind on your audits. One of the things I would like a lot about the aiming to do is get us within 2 years behind on our audit. At that time, a finance director can hopefully come in and then get us caught up. But you're still going to need somebody to stop the bleeding, because just in the 3 weeks I've been here, whatever's going on in the county system is all messed up. And like Baker Tilly said, you have to peel that onion one layer at a time. And for the sake of time, get an experienced firm that got more than one person to come in and do the work.
May you ask us? Yes.
Mr. Finch, you talked about 2022. Is Baker Tilly going to finish 2021?
Yes, Baker Tilly gonna finish 2021.
With who?
Once,
Who's doing?
my help.
Your, okay.
Once we figure out how to, get access to the civic system.
Okay, that's all, I want to make sure 21, okay.
Anything else?
So basically, next week, you want, to put on the agenda to move forward with Monica?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Is that gonna require an ordinance or just looking at a contract?
From my understanding, we have the ordinance already, and that was when we brought in Sheldon Fox.
But then you got, I'm saying we have to recreate another ordinance with Butterfly.
No,
Yeah.
just amending the ordinance or creating a resolution identifying.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
So
the
we're going to give
resolution.
direction to the attorneys to.
She reviewed this and got back to me today, and like I said, there's one sentence that she won't change in that paragraph before the last. She want that removed. I talked to Matt. He's gonna try to get that back to me by Thursday,
Okay.
and if so, then you'll have everything you need. But it should be ready by Tuesday, yes.
Yes,
I'm going to make, Ms. Mayor, I'm about to bring to your attention again.
I'm sorry.
I'm about to bring this to your attention again in front of the public. He's working outside the scope of his position.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I'm waiting on you to say that. I have a problem with that.
You shared that with
That
me
is
last
not internal auditing. That is a very big problem to me. Everything he just came about and said under these titles, no, it's not internal auditing.
Thank you for that.
Response?
You know, could you go? I'm sorry, audience. I don't like to hear that type of comment, okay? We can think whatever we want to think internally. It does not have to be verbalized. Let's move on.
Madam Mayor, please, I need to, as a trustee, and the trustees that brought the internal auditor in, I need to make sure that everyone understands that Mr. Finch is absolutely working in the scope of his contract. He is an auditor, and that is his job to audit the records, all financial records in this village. It is his job to research everything, and it is his job to bring the report back to the trustees, which is exactly what he's doing. I don't understand.
Okay, thank you for that too.
Yes.
Yeah, we understand. Thank you very much. Next item. I would like to introduce the next item, if
Yes.
you don't mind.
And I'm not gonna be able to speak for it, but it is.
Okay,
Thank you.
we have a gentleman that has come into the presence of the village of Sauk Village a few years ago, and he has been doing wonderful works with our young people. And our former mayor basically told us, he does not get paid for the majority of what he does. A lot of times he comes out of pocket. I'm talking about Mr. George Green, who runs our baseball program, who runs our basketball program. He opens up our community center from time to time for our older gentlemen that are not youngsters. I think did I say that nicely? So that they can, play ball and form a camaraderie or whatever amongst themselves. He and I have been attempting to meet over the last 2 weeks, and somehow or another I get the schedule meeting askew, or he gets it, he's downtown someplace and can't get here. But regardless of that, we want to still bring him forward, and any of your coaches, if you like, for you to come and address us in terms of what we need to do to further support our youth. I'm sorry, may I ask, not coming up? Because we have more chickens. We just ask you to get it yourself. Okay? Is it green? Now it's green? Okay.
I'll introduce everybody. I am George Green. I'm the CEO of Sauk Village Athletic Association. This is Calvin Haney. He's the president of the Sauk Village Athletic Association. And that is Earl Doris. He's the director of the Sauk Village Association. You look at our website, Mr. Doris has done a tremendous job on our website. He does all the good work for us, help us schedule stuff. I want to thank you, Madam Mayor and Madam Clerk, for inviting us to discuss a need that we have. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, our program is in need of a little help. For 4 years, we've been doing this, and like you say, we have been basically doing this with just a little help from our village, not that this village, but some of the businesses making donations to help us out with our youth. We try to keep our fees as low as possible for the people in Sauk Village. Just so we want all our kids to play. And what happened is, when the storm came through a little while ago, it destroyed a lot of our equipment. Bats, gloves, helmets.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that why you guys gave me that old tattered ball when I did the pitching at the opening game?
Well, I was there, but I don't know why he treated you like that.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I just had to.
And due to that and the increase of the umpires, it's hard to get umpires because of the way people act. And they get tired of fights and people yelling at them. So they walk off. And to get them back, you have to maybe increase your fees to get them to come back and on. So that's a fee that we have incurred.
So you're paying for the umpire now?
Yes, we pay for umpires. We're asking that the village help us out because of the election, the way the season falls. We don't go out and ask the stores for donations without the approval of the mayor. So we'll have a letter that goes out to the businesses and with the mayor's signature saying that everything is, that we're on the up and up. People donate, stores donate money. We weren't able to do that this year because there was a new mayor, of course. There was inauguration, and right before your inauguration, the season started. So we weren't able to go out and try to get donations. We're asking the village to help us out this year with $4,500.
$4,500?
$4,500.
Not thousand.
We take that, but we're gonna do a little less this year. We'll do $4,500. But yes, we're asking for $4,500 if the village would look so kindly and help us out, help the children of the village. Of course, you can see a difference in the kids in this village. The last police chief told me to keep doing what we was doing, was making a difference. And we're keeping them off the street. And me and myself and the rest of the people that work with us are working really, really hard to try to make a difference and be a positive role model to the youth of this village.
Any other comments from anyone else?
Yeah, just let me add real quickly. Also,
Can you release the mic so that others can hear you? Thank you.
Also, just let me add real quickly. Also, one of the things that Coach Green did mention is a lot of we play at Bloom Trail High School. A lot of our storage and everything is done, which graciously for the last 3 years since we've been on board with our relationship with you all, they've allowed us the autonomy to use their fields. Oh, I apologize. They allowed us the autonomy to use the fields over there. But one other thing that did get damaged that caused this catastrophe is the equipment room, because everywhere we store our equipment, the roof is damaged. So that was the bulk of how everything got damaged, because our storage facility where we house all of our equipment, we need a new roof for that. Last year also, we expanded our program into basketball. For the last 3 years, it primarily has been baseball. We've been very successful running a youth organization here. With basketball, 80% of our youth in that basketball program were new. Only 20% had previously played baseball. So now we tapped into an untapped market, bringing additional youth that had never been in our program. Our goal is simple. If we can get these kids ages from anywhere between 3 to 15 years of age in our programs more sooner, we see positive results. Keeping them off the streets is one thing. George Green mentioned that we're able to keep your police force to doing the tasks and what they need to do and not monitor these youth on things they shouldn't be doing. So again, allowing us the autonomy to continue to grow. And again, we're not-for-profit, allowing us the ability to do this. We have been operating off of sweat. All of our coaches are vetted, has experience in doing this with the grace of the program. Coach Earl is the only one. We have 2 other coaches that have kids in our program. All of our other coaches, including myself and Coach Green, does not have any kids in this program at all. I unfortunately travel an hour every day coming to your city to provide the assistance that's necessary.
Hi, I'm Errol Doris. I spoke to you briefly, and you, Trustee Johnson. So, as he alluded to, I have children that are go to school in District 168. And, when I met Coach Green and Coach Haney several years ago, it was with the purpose of having my son get involved in some type of athletics. It was after COVID. People were clamoring to find something to do. And, one of the things I've noticed, though, over the course of the past several years, I've lived out here for years are blending together. Let's say 13 years. I just start to notice a sense of community amongst the children themselves. I have a child that goes to Strasburg. I have a child that goes to Rickover. And when you start to see kids gel and start to take it upon themselves to befriend others that they might not normally know, and the nucleus somehow seems to revolve around what we're doing with the athletics program. And I'm just starting to see this maturation process. There's been a lot of kids that we've tried to help along academically. We get calls from parents, hey, my child is XYZ. Some of these kids have jumped from being in an alternative school to literally being on an honor roll. I'm talking a year and a half, very quickly. I think a lot of that has to do with the support of their peers. Parents are, you can turn the screws and be a mom and dad, but when your friends try to hold you accountable, and it's surrounded by this thing that you all commonly have together. To me, that's the beauty of it. You know, you got 400 kids at Strasburg, and we partnered with District 168. They've been gracious enough to let us use the facility because we're not a profit. And we had a tremendous explosion of interest with parents and people from other communities. We even had other communities buying into leaving said program and moving to Sauk Village to take part in what we're doing. So from my perspective, I would just like to see the entire community united, whichever side of the fence you're on, understanding the fact that these kids don't know any better. They honestly could care less. They just want to enjoy themselves and be a kid and have fun and grow and educate themselves and be around their peers in a positive way. It's enriched my life in ways that, you know, I really can't put a value on. I mean, none of us get paid anything, and honestly don't even really think about it, you know, because when you're helping someone to develop in multiple layers of their life, you know, and 2-3 years go by and you watch a child mature, you can't quantify that, you know, so.
Thank you very much for your presentation from the three of you. I think between you guys, you definitely have presented to us a very holistic approach to your program, and we greatly appreciate it. But it seems as if Trustee Burns has a question or comment.
Here. Okay, I know that we don't actually have a actual park district, which is its own governing body. But we have a name called Sauk Village Athletic Association with an EIN number. Is this a Sauk Village team, or is this something owned by you as a resident, as individuals, that's actually using the Sauk Village name? Or do we have any type of paperwork or any type of contract with you guys in order for this to be actually called the Sauk Village Athletic Association? Do we have anything that says that Sauk Village, is this a Sauk Village program? A Sauk Village program, or is it appears to be an individual personal program?
Can we allow them to answer? I think that
I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I'm right. Hold on, Mayor. Wait a minute. Give me 1 second, because I'm trying to make sure I'm asking the correct question.
I know, but you're framing it, and you framed it 3 times verbally.
Mayor.
So maybe take a moment and gather your thoughts,
Mayor.
because we have another trustee.
I get Mayor.
Yes.
Please let me finish, please.
Okay.
So what I'm asking is, it says Sauk Village Athletic Association with an EIN number. It appears that this is a Sauk Village sponsored or Sauk Village run event. But then when I look at Chief Operating Officer and co-founder, it also seems like this is an individual who created this name and have their own EIN number. How is this whole thing structured? And who is it structured under?
We are our own entity. Sauk Village Athletic Association is a non-for-profit organization with an EIN number, so that if somebody donates to our program, they will be able to use our EIN number and send it to the Internal Revenue and be able to write off any amount of money that they have donated to our program. This is not an individual program. That is me as the CEO. That's George Green as the CEO. That's George Green's address that's on that paper. It's not. That is where the program is run out of. It's not run over. It's not run in the village of Sauk Village. Sauk Village Athletic Association is just a name that was available that we use to associate the program with where we run in the
I'm
organization.
sorry, trustee Johnson.
I was going to ask the same thing because I'm one of the coaches, so he already answered it.
Okay, very good. Trustee Sapp?
Mr. Green, we talked about this before, but just for clarification's sake, how are you guys affiliated when it comes to Grand Avenue and the programs that they offer in School District 168?
We're not.
So do you work with them at all?
No.
Trustee Burns?
So, did you have permission to name your organization in the name of the village, Sauk Village? Was that given, were you given permission to do that? Because, I'm just saying that because it says that residents, which you're a resident, cannot legally use a municipality's name to obtain an EIN number or operate a personal business unless they have formal written permission or legal agreement with the municipality. So I'm saying that this is our name, the village. And so, and you're a personal person, and yet you're operating your personal business through a name of the municipality, but the municipality is not associated with your personal business. So I'm just saying, if you did get the information to do so, I just want to know how are you, it's really not allowed to use Sauk Village as a personal entity to run a personal business. So it's
Trustee, we can't use the village of Sauk Village in the name. We can use Sauk Village because that's just a name. We can't use the village of Sauk Village to do anything because we're not associated with the village of Sauk Village. But we can use Sauk Village. That is just a word. That's just a name.
The village, Sauk Village. Think about it. Okay, wait. As you were talking, did I not try to listen? Okay. No, I interrupt when you kept saying the same thing over and over. There is a difference. But, okay, hear me out. Thank you. Let's hear me. Hear me. Okay, don't get me up there. I'm doing my best. Okay. Sauk Village is a city or a town. Village Hall, the municipal center, we are the village of Sauk Village. That's the name of our municipality. There's a difference between, if I'm not mistaken, if we go down the street on Sauk Trail, don't we have a Sauk Village daycare center? Yes, unless they change their name, do we not? Yes, we do.
So again, I'm not disputing whether you can. I'm saying this has been formally approved for an individual to use and identify his business as a Sauk Village business. Because this can be, now if you want to do it, you can't do it. I will suggest that we get formal permission from the mayor in order to.
How long have you been in operation?
Can I make a quick comment? Can I make a very brief comment?
Yes.
Very quickly. Okay, so I purposely am responsible for not only the branding, the logo. I designed it. I do research on it. My background is in packaging and structural design. I do a lot of due diligence and research on things before I just blanketly throw them out there. One of the things I was very mindful of was the fact that it is formally called the Village of Sauk Village. And so I didn't want to do anything that was going to tamper with and or manipulate. The other thing that I was very mindful of is the fact that there was a relationship prior to even when I came on board that he was granted permission by the previous administration to use this name. So the short answer is yes. They had an agreement. Because we're not for profit, I donated my time to create all of these things, the likeness, the letterhead, the logos, the website, all of the things that we're doing, from promotional flyers to stuff that we put out for parents, everything. So I don't find that there would be any correlation. You can technically name your business anything you want as long as it's not interfering legally with something that, and that has to do with wording, the name of something else that is a viable entity, which would be the Village of Sauk Village.
Okay, I understand everything you're saying. Sauk Village is still Sauk Village. That identifies directly with this town, this state, Sauk Village, Illinois. So I'm saying, if you, obviously you're telling me that he obviously talked to the previous administration because in order to get permission, which means there was a concern there of him.
No, it's more of like, it's more of less, hey, I'm letting you know I'm starting a business.
No. We're not talking about starting a business. We're talking about the name, our village.
It's a business.
It's
a business. That's why it has an EIN.
okay. Again,
I live here. I take pride in where I live. I want it to be a
sir,
Sauk Village.
Sir, I live here too. What
Right.
I'm saying is this says it's Sauk Village Athletic Association. And I'm
Right.
saying it would be proper to get in writing from the mayor that using Sauk Village's name as a business for individual resident, she gives you permission to do so.
So you're saying the previous mayor's
I don't know
thumbs
what,
up
I
was
didn't,
not-
I didn't see this under the previous mayor. I'm just seeing this now under this mayor. And it says it's the Sauk Village Athletic Association.
We're going to go with one
And that's
other
it. So I'm just saying
We're going to go with one
that it would be
other
good to have that in
comment
writing
from
so there would
someone
not be
who's not
misconstrued.
communicated at this point on this
You
matter.
understand?
Trustee Sapp.
You guys are asking for donations. Have you, do you do fundraisers of any type? And I ask that because I see kids in the city dancing in the street with buckets asking for donations. I'm sure you don't do that, but what type of fundraisers do you do to help to profit your organization?
So we yearly do a popcorn fundraiser, and we somewhat, you know, we're an athletics association, so there's a competitive edge associated with it. So we basically tell the kids, first, second, third place, go raise the most money, you know, and that stuff gets thrown back into our program. As he alluded to, our goal is always to keep our fees and our registration fees affordable for our parents so that they can afford to have their kids take part in anything that we do, whether it be basketball, baseball, etc. And so we routinely are operating at a deficit when we're ordering uniforms and ordering things to ramp up for the season. There are fees that we have to pay our league, and we usually get all of the money that we need from the registration fees. Occasionally, there are, you know, as you kind of alluded to, Mayor, that there's not enough money. And so sometimes we have to come out of our own pockets to either get baseballs, equipment, cleats, bats, you name it. You know, someone doesn't have proper attire to play or what have you. We try to help people out as best here. And it's usually between the end of the season. And that it allows the parents to kind of like help out and try to give back as best as they possibly can. Most of the parents forward it to their relatives and they get everybody involved. That's our way of kind of like giving ourselves a boost.
Thank you for that. You know, a lot of times when I go to some of the business establishments, wherever, some of the businesses sponsor the entire Little League, and they have, you know, a picture of them or whatever, you know, in the establishment. I would like to see you grow to that point at some point so that you're not out passing the hat. But that's not going to help you with the reason why you endeavored to come before this board to discuss your need and to make your appeal. I don't think that when you came before the board that it would be a cause of consternation, but you know, I think that all of our trustees, our entire board, have a right to ask and to provide the opinion of theirs, but I don't think that it's necessary for us to prolong this piece, because we could stay here and it's still not going to change the fact that your name is the Sauk Village Athletic Association, and maybe work through whatever you need to, or legal needs, I don't know. If you and the former mayor had a written contract, or if it was a gentleman's agreement or whatever, then this is what I would suggest, if you don't mind. And I know that you're your own nonprofit, but this way, I think that we can all be on one accord, and that maybe we consider developing a memo of understanding of what youths do on behalf of the youth here in Sauk Village, not the village of Sauk Village, but Sauk Village, and what and how the board and the village of Sauk Village can support you maybe annually, because you are providing opportunities for our youth in two different areas. Had we met last week or the week before, we would have explored a couple of other opportunities for consideration, because it would be nice to give our youngsters here in the village an opportunity for soccer. What's that new game, pickleball? You know, tennis. I mean, not just baseball, basketball, which are the tried and true, but let's look at providing exposure along another line. So if you're willing to help us to help our youth, then we're willing, I'm certain, willing to help you help us. So we can revisit, okay, if that, we can revisit the requirements and the needs for them. Do you have your own insurance, or do we? Oh, you did. I do. I remember seeing it. I'm sorry. But when we used to when you used to community center, is that your insurance, or the bill? That's your insurance as well.
We have our own insurance. That's another cost.
Yes.
We have our own insurance. Covers us under 168, 206, and because the villages. That's not what the kids says. No, because those are all of those are not in our program.
Right. So we're talking about the youth that's in your program, and so I think that the fact that, you know, some of our older gentlemen that's out here with us today, the fact that if they wanted to, what is it, on Sunday, get up and go and shoot some hoop on Sunday, it's good that they have that, but they're playing at their own risk. I understand that. Okay, so they're playing at their own risk, and hopefully they have their Bengay and everything ready. Okay?
I didn't know they did that.
Okay, but let's explore it later, okay? We can't solve all of this evening, trustee. They brought it to us. We're going to work through it, and we're going to come up with a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, where it's all laid out, who's responsible for what, but we can't solve this puzzle tonight. Thank you. Okay, trustee, let's not. Okay, we acknowledge that. Come on now, come on. So, from my understanding, the gist of your coming before us this evening is to ask for consideration of us giving you $4,500. Okay. Trustees, you hear what their ask is. You've heard about their program. All we're asking at this point is to allow their request to be voted on next Tuesday. That's all we want, is to put it on the agenda and bring it to a vote. Okay?
And
that's all we're asking right now.
Before we vote, I would like for us to privately review this, and so by the time it comes to a vote, we will have this paperwork in order.
There is absolutely no way, trustee, that we're going to have an MOU operate that's gone through the attorneys, that's done all of this, all anew by Tuesday, and they're in need now. So I tell you what you do. We're going to put it on the agenda, and if you opt not to vote yes, say nay. And then you have your vote. But I want to do it. I want to with everyone.
I want to do it as well.
Okay.
I want to do it as well.
But I want
but
us
I would
to
like,
end, because they've been up here now
I would
for
like for the I would like for us to have a meeting with the attorneys this week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
But
it will be on the agenda.
I would like to have a meeting with the attorney this week to discuss this because it's serious.
It's time for you to give us a TIF update.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. Concerning the TIF, we've been working with, as you guys know, the dispensary with Mr. Jerzik. It has been approved to be zoned as a dispensary right here at 1699 Sauk Trail. But we also...
Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's okay. No, not a problem.
But we've also had a lot of discrepancies of what was in our TIFs and how long our TIFs are still available. We've had 7 years quoted, we've had 15 years quoted, we've had 12 years quoted. We know that Mr. Jerzik had to leave the TIF zone that he was in because someone told him it was 12 years on that TIF, and that TIF is actually expired. So I did some research on the TIFs, because we understand that without having TIFs, we cannot have development in our community of no kind. So it's extremely important for us to know what our TIFs are and what's happening in our TIF districts. We have 4 TIF districts, and here let me look this up real fast. We have 4 TIF districts. One of our TIF districts is actually expired. It expired in 2011. Another TIF district expired last year in 2024. Now, this district that I'm naming that expired in 2024 was told that there was 12 years left on that TIF, and it was not. We also have 2 more TIFs district. We have TIF district 3 and 4. Someone was, Mr. Jerzik was told that it was a 12-year term left, and he was also told that there was a 7-year term. Well, after going into research, those 2 districts are set to expire.
I'm going to interrupt, because when we have a committee of the whole meeting, it's a meeting between the people around the table, and you're not talking to the residents. And right now, you're addressing the residents. I'm going to ask you to address your colleagues, if you don't mind. Address your colleagues.
I am.
No, you were looking over there at the residents. Let's form this bond where we communicate.
I am addressing the room, and that includes the colleagues and everyone in it. That's okay, Madam Mayor. I don't know what you want me to do, Mayor, but I'm addressing this situation.
Right, this little square.
Yes,
right now.
I am. I don't.
Just the square.
So again, TIFs 3 and 4 are set to expire 2028. We only have 3 years on the TIFs, which is literally not enough of anything for any type of development to be done in Sauk Village, and no development will come to Sauk Village with that little time left on our TIFs. So District 3 and 4, and District 3 is one of the TIFs that Mr. Jersic is trying to bring his business into, which expires in 3 years. So what we would need to do, we are able to get an extension on the TIFs, a 12-year extension. But this will be a process that we would need to go through, and we would need to get our lawyers involved in this. And so in order for us to, actually move forward and hopefully to get development in the village, in our village, we would really need to sit down with the lawyers and find out what we can do to get the extension established right away. Other than that, there is no economic development that can come into our village at this time. So that's the research and the update on TIFs.
Okay, may I make a comment, please, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Because in terms of trustees who have requested or committed to work on a particular committee, one of our committees is Community and Economic Development, and that is Trustee Sauk. So what I would recommend at this point, she didn't tell you, but remember a little earlier I said 3 people who have requested. So let me finish my story. So it is my recommendation, and you're going to hear me make these type of recommendations on a regular basis. When there's something new and or germane to one of your committees, when I say or someone else make the recommendation that we refer it to committee, when we say that, then that means we're not ready to act on it at this point, but we need to do just that. Refer it to a committee and let them complete the necessary research and then come back and provide us the needed updates and the determination of where we go forward. So, Trustee Sauk has graciously stated that she would move away from her original request, which was housing, and that she would assume chairpersonship or the liaison for the economic development and community development. Those are the ones that are, one of those that were combined. I would like to refer it to that committee. Do you have the gist of what her concern and all of that? It's time for you then to bring your committee together and you guys work on whatever it is that she's asking, and anyone else that would bring it forward to you so that we can move forward. Okay?
Okay, and so what I would do is give my notes to Trustee Sauk, and then she can move forward on that.
And she needs to hear the next thing that you have too, because that's part of her committee to the economic development concerns.
She has
or
2?
Did you combine? No.
I'm looking at the committees that you have listed. So this is my first time hearing of this. So tell me which committee she's doing now, so I can properly address it. So you're doing community? Okay, so Trustee Sauk. Okay. All right, so that's Trustee Sauk.
Okay, so did you just finish talking about economic development concerns? Was that along with TIF updates?
Yes, that's along with TIF updates.
Okay,
So I will send all of that to her, because that portion will need to be dealt with the attorney.
Let her and her committee do it. I'm certain that she knows that she's gonna need, what she's gonna need to do.
No,
So,
well, she won't. I will talk with her and I will give her
however
all the
you do that,
information.
are we ready to go on for space for trustees,
So,
committee events?
Yes, so community update for village dissemination of events. So now that we have, the committees are getting ready to start forming, the committees are getting ready to start having different events under their committee. Also, we have a new office, the Office of Mayor Special Events. So a lot of activity is getting ready to start. So what I know that in the past, we would use the water bill, the company that processes our water bills. And so in the past, what we would do, committees and all of that, if we had something coming up, we would put it under and in our water bill. Or there are times we would just send it to the company itself. That way, we were able to do that as well. I'm just saying this is what we've done in the past.
I know that I never was able to do that in the past, and I was the village clerk. But
can I finish? I'm gonna finish.
Okay, but you take so long prefacing.
Mayor, please.
For real, I'm sorry.
I can say that to you, but I don't.
Yes.
I won't disrespect.
Thank you for that.
I won't disrespect you like that. I'll let you speak and say what you need as long as you
have
need.
on here space for trustees to hold committee events and seminars.
So let me
but
finish.
You're talking about where to post your events.
No, let me finish my portion.
I'm trying.
So again, since everything is getting ready to start, I want to know if that will be a valuable position for us to use the mailing house that we're already using, that when our committees and where we're doing events, that we could just send it through the mailing house so that it could be mailed to the residents. And I'm saying that because one of the main concerns that the clerk brought up is it's been very difficult for us to get information to our residents. And so since we have a mailing company, this would be a really great way that our residents can be informed in their homes of everything that the village is doing.
Okay, may I answer? Because you asked me that question. May I answer now? May I?
Yeah.
Thank you. In order to utilize that, aside from the one extra sheet that they allocate according to their contract that they have with us, then we would need to totally renegotiate their contract because it is very specific in terms of how many extra pages we have. They're just not a mailing house. They mail our water bills, and they've given us an opportunity to include one other page.
Two.
The back page, the back side of the actual water bill. This is the water bill, this is the back side. Then they allow us one other page.
Right.
Okay, so if you've done that in the past, know that, and I don't mean any harm, but that was out of order and is no longer going to be acceptable because we have to be able to control our costs and our budgets. Everybody cannot just do what they feel that they need to do. Anthony Finch and I, this was years ago, and I know Anthony Finch and I, we set up the system for the mailing and what we expected from them. If it changes, then we are obligated to go back and change the contract. We can't just do what we want. And if you did it in the past, it's not acceptable in the future. We will have to change the contract and our budget. The elected officials' budget would require changing as well because we are adding to our expenses. But that's something else that we can talk about. I honestly thought when you said space for trustees to hold committee events and seminars that you were talking about locations.
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten
And-
to that section yet.
But that's not, okay,
I'm not
you're
there
talking
yet.
about ads.
I'm-
Ads isn't in here.
I'm not talking about ads. What I'm asking, there was a concern about residents, us not being able to communicate with our residents. So I'm saying that we have a situation where we do our water bills. I know that in the past, the company without additional charge have allowed.
Oh, no.
Yes, without additional charge, had allowed us to.
You've been giving misinformation.
I've used
They
it.
charge us, well, I don't know what.
I've used it.
But they charge us, trustee, for every.
Okay, Mayor, this
everything.
is something that I
And-
want us to look into, so that when we, as the village, give our events, and all of that, if we can send these events through the mail to our residents. So let's look into it, that's all I'm saying.
Let's explore.
That's all I'm
the-
saying.
But it's not all you're saying, because it's speaking volumes, okay? Let's explore other avenues for communicating with our residents. Know that with the water bill, their water bills does not always, and especially if they're a renter, it doesn't go to them. It goes to their landlords who live wherever they live. I see someone shaking their head. So all of our residents still don't get the information. So we need different avenues to reach them. We're gonna go, see, this is it. You don't listen as I'm talking. You're ready to talk, and I'm still
Okay,
talking.
wait a minute,
I'm not trying to
I
be
haven't opened I haven't said
You were-
anything. It doesn't matter, Mayor, I'm listening to what you're saying.
so-
What I'm saying
What I'm
is,
saying-
we have a,
Let's stop talking about.
let's talk to the company.
Let's stop talking about how we're going to communicate the events, because that's not what you have on this agenda. Read it.
Okay, can I continue with my section?
If you're going
Can
to
I
read
continue,
about,
Mayor?
no,
Can I
It
continue?
has to be what's on the
Can
agenda.
I continue?
In case it needs to be.
Can I
Let's
continue?
not be difficult. We've been doing good.
I'm asking, can I continue?
Take care of what's
Can
on the
I continue?
If you are dealing with
Okay,
what's on the agenda.
so again, that was one of the things on the agenda,
It's
how
not
we
on
can
the agenda.
how we can disseminate, and disseminate information for
Okay,
our
it's not there.
residents.
So let's talk about space for trustees to hold committee
I
events
haven't,
and
I'm
seminars.
going to talk about that as soon as I get to it. I hadn't gotten to that side.
But what you're talking about was never even on the agenda.
It's right here,
No,
Mayor.
it's not.
It,
Are you looking at a different agenda?
no,
than me?
okay, again.
Is you looking at a different agenda?
Okay, so my next topic is space for trustees to hold committee events and seminars. So now that's my next topic. That's my last one. But the mayor didn't let me get there. But here we are. We our community center has court on Mondays. And then there's a lot of activity in our senior center with the seniors and veterans. So I am trying to figure out how can we as committee chairs, if we want to do a seminar, if we want to hold an event, what space can we use to hold events or seminars when we need to as committee people? Is the senior center available to us? And also, is the court available?
Are you ready for me to answer the question? Because you were asking a question, and so I'll be more than happy to answer if you give me an opportunity to answer. Yes, we should be able to use the community center. We should be able to use the senior center. However, it's still, you must book it. We don't get carte blanche over those centers and those programs.
No.
Okay, so that's where
So who do we talk to communicate this with the senior center?
it would be Carol Coleman, who was the new chairperson that was introduced last week.
Okay, so Ms. Coleman?
And if it's the senior center, it will be me for now. Community center, it will be me for now. But we can't bump a resident or some event that's already booked there. So my suggestion, once again, do your pre-planning, book your dates. I would hope that if it is a village event, if it's a village event, Village of Sauk Village event, I would hope that they would not charge us, okay? But if it's another event on behalf of any of your other organizations that you may have, then you should be expected to pay whatever their registration fee is and be prepared to do that. But I'm still going to say, we have to book just as everyone else booked. Okay? Okay? Anything else?
That concludes my section.
Okay. And please forgive me because I see that you transposed. Your last word supposed to be the village information dissemination. But you took that out of order, and forgive me because I didn't notice that. I don't mind admitting my mistakes. Village Clerk Debbie, you're going to talk about the code books.
And I'd like to table that till 2 weeks.
Okay. Good. And now it's time for public comments. And just keep in mind, you all, I promised you last week that we will not be here 3 hours. So, okay, you will still get to come to the mic, turn it on, state your name for the record. We can't hear you, Laura. Would you turn the mic on for her? Come on now. We have to also keep in mind it's not just them you're communicating with. We have a mic back here that we are bound by law to record our meetings, and so it needs to be heard there too. So just humor us.
Okay, I'm gonna humor you. I only got one statement. The way we are only allowed 3 minutes, is it possible that you all also be allowed 3 minutes because, let me just finish this, because some of the things that you talk about is extended. This is why we're still here this time. I get that you all have to get it out, but does it have to be so long? That's all I want to say. Because it is irritating sometimes with you all the way you go back and forth.
Thank you for that.
Go ahead.
David Fields. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Board of Trustees. Mayor, my question is real simple. I'm trying, can you tell us when they would get on the north side to get the trees up? We've got trees that's been down almost a week now over there. And when I say trees, I mean trees that's down over there. And we've yet to see anyone come over on that side yet to start getting up any of the trees. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Excuse me 1 second. The front door's locked because it's over 3 hours. Do you want me to go back inside? Is somebody trying to get in?
Somebody's trying to get in?
Yes, because after 3 hours it automatically locks.
Recorder's on still?
The recorder's still out there, but somebody has to take steps. Do you know how to do it? Silver.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Hello, Miss Mayor. My name is Ernestine Blackman. And I just want to say to you that I disagree with you when you said that 10 people shouldn't get up here and say the same thing. 10 people might have the same, need to address the same situation. And this is why we come out here to address our concerns concerning this village. And one of my concerns is the trees. And also, what are you guys gonna do about all those abandoned buildings, grass growing up, snakes and rodents? So I would like to know what you're gonna do about that. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
All right, good evening to you, Mayor, trustees. I live in Lincoln Meadow Estates.
Can I get your name, please, sir?
Larry McKnight.
Larry who?
Larry McKnight. Yeah. I live in Lincoln Meadow Estates and been there for 3 years. And I wanted to know, is there any way we can get some type of speed bumps on Eastbrook Drive? Because they go up and down the street about 60, 50 miles an hour every day. And I just think it's needed. Yeah.
Did you say Eastbrook?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. McKnight. Generally what happens, and I know this is your first time with us, generally we hear from everyone and then respond after that. But if you had something else you wanted to address?
No, that's it for now.
Are you sure you don't want to address the dogs that run?
Yes. Yeah, we got loose dogs over there sometimes, you know. I don't know what can be done about that, but yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Rochelle Jones at Tangible Dreams Recovery Home.
I'm sorry. May I do your introduction?
Sure.
So that you're not spending that time. You have at your desk a document that looks like this?
Yes, ma'am.
Backside look like this?
Do you have them all, Trustee Sack? Okay. Trustee Sack, she's got them passing around.
And can I have one more? Thank you. And the reason why we're doing this that way is because this lady contacted me about a week or so ago and talked about the process and what was needed. And I thought that I would be getting a meeting packet to share with the trustees so that they can see it. We didn't get it by Friday, so therefore she did not get on the agenda. She wanted to be on the agenda to give a formalized presentation. She's here from out of town, and I'm sorry, I don't remember where you're from.
I'm in Sarasota, Florida.
Say what?
Florida.
In Florida. But we thought that we would still give her the 3 minutes that we give others in public comment, but then for you to understand why you have a meeting packet as she's talking, okay? I'm sorry, your 3 minutes can start now.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Rochelle Jones Ford. I'm the administrative assistant at Tangible Dreams Recovery Home, located at 21605 on Clyde Avenue here in Sauk Village. I'm here tonight to respectfully request your support in granting zoning approval that will allow us to provide safe, structured housing to women who are rebuilding their lives after incarceration or substance use. According to research, each year more than 20,000 individuals return to Illinois communities from prison, and also in 2022, Illinois experienced a total of 38,849 overdose deaths, and of those, 2,000 of those occurred in Cook County, marking a record high for the county. At Tangible Dreams, we're not just aware of the problem, we aim to be a part of the solution. We will provide wraparound services, including mental health counseling referrals, job readiness training, financial literacy, peer mentorship, reentry coaching, and more. This is not a shelter. It's a peaceful, well-managed residential home where up to 6 women at a time will receive the structure, dignity, and stability that they need to truly heal. The residents' stay will be based on their progress, not a countdown clock. Sauk Village has a poverty rate of about 20% according to research, which increases the risk of relapse and recidivism. Tangible Dreams offer a direct local solution. We're funded through private donations, resident contributions, and small grants, not taxpayer burden. We are a registered 501c3 organization through the IRS, and we also have an in-house grant writer, which is also myself. You should all have received a meeting packet outlining our mission and services, and if you haven't, I'm more than happy to provide more information. This zoning approval is not just about allowing our house to operate, it's about giving women a chance to succeed and help Sauk Village become a place where recovery is possible, dignity is protected, and second chances are real. Thank you so much for your time.
That was very good. We have to wait and see if, you're not leaving, are you?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Real quick, because she just asked, she had a request. Her request was for this to get forwarded to our zoning board.
Oh.
So this
yes.
is why I interrupt. That was a very important
that's
part.
that's what I would be responding to when it was time to respond. That it would be referred to zoning, and then we go through that whole process.
Good evening, everyone. Larry Sapp. I'm going to just backtrack on what the young lady said about the back and forth. This is not conducive of what we're about. I know you fine ladies and intelligent as you are can figure out a way to just table things. And if you got a disagreement, and it's okay to disagree, but not to be confrontational and disagreeable in front of us. We come here for solutions. That's what we want. And with regard to the youth organization team, we need to support that. We really do. Anything that helps our youth, we need to be on top of that. Because with regard to EIN numbers, that goes through the Secretary of State. They have to pay a fee, and they have to submit a name for the organization along with that fee. If that name is registered or unavailable, the Secretary of State will get back with whoever submitted for the EIN number and tell them they have to come up with another name. So the name Sauk Village was available and was issued to them by the Secretary of State. They don't need permission other than that name is available through the Secretary of State's office. $4,500 is not a big ask. I know we're in dire straits financially, but we have to find a way to support them, and I don't think that's allowed. But there are other ways that we can raise this kind of money through us getting together and creating fundraisers through the new committee that Trustee Sapp is sponsoring. Would be a good way to start charging after support financially for these youth. We desperately need these kinds of programs in the village to deter violence and crime. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
James Harvey. I'm just.
Can you talk into the mic, please?
I just got a complaint, and it has to do with the fire hydrants and then the street lights. We have street lights out on Brookwood, down the street, 224th Place, and then 225th. And then we got parking lot lights out right here, right outside. That's dangerous. You know, at midnight, you know, it's dark out there, you know, kids and other people running around. They hang around dark places, so we need to get that fixed. I want to know what's going to be done about that, because these lights been flickering for the last 2-3 months. 6 months. So can you address that?
Thank you,
and
sir.
then the fire hydrants that's still out.
Yes, sir.
I'm Francine Anderson. I have a couple of statements, Madam Mayor. Right now, I'm not sure if I have any questions, but I did want to make comments about the youth organization and to also, I don't know if Trustee Burns knew it or not, but we also had a Sauk Village Sports Association, and they were a 501c3 as well. And there is no regulations in which anyone cannot use the Sauk Village name. So I want to say they've been here 3 years, and in 3 years we have saw some fantastic things going on with our youth. They have won some first place trophies. They have won some second place trophies. We have had increase in parent volunteering, increase in youth being involved in the baseball and in the basketball. It has just been awesome to see them come and have their awards and have them come to the meetings. And the other thing I really truly like about it is that we are seeing youth in Sauk Village be actively involved in this organization. They have truly been engaged. We have a lot of male residents who are coaches. The fathers are giving their time. And so with that, I think our children have been engaged with getting some good mentoring, some good sportsmanlike activities and goals, as well as learning how to be good citizens, as well as being involved and sharing with each other. So it has just been, for me, a great vision of seeing those children being actively involved. So I am hoping that in making my statement that we will be active in hopefully helping them, because they've never asked for help or support before. So they must be in dire straits, because these particular gentlemen and their involvement in our community has never asked for assistance in 3 years. So I am hoping that you will have the fortitude to go ahead and support them and let them continue to work with our youth. That's mainly what I have to say to them.
You ready? Yep. Jeffrey Burns, board member, District 168. I have a comment and a question. My comment, well, I'll form it all as one question, basically. So my question is, the committee meeting is when you bring forth the information to discuss with the trustees. The following week is the board meeting, where you put it on the agenda to vote on what you discussed previously. So I do like the fact that Trustee Raven Johnson said she does research and she knows exactly what she's talking about when you guys present stuff to her. So my question is, because this is a new administration, and 2 weeks ago you let everyone know that when the new administration came aboard, there was no gas for our emergency vehicles. You spoke about that at the last committee meeting. Last week you put that on the agenda to be voted for. However, every trustee here voted for it, except for Raven Johnson.
Please, sir.
No, I have a question. I'm questioning.
But can you refrain from names?
Well, when I say trustee, I want to be specific, like David Fields is very specific when he talk about the 4 trustees. So I'll say 3 trustees. But this is their job. They signed up for this. David Fields made perfectly clear when he talked to these trustees that they signed up for this. You signed up for public scrutiny according to how you vote. Okay? Now, I didn't talk when you was talking, sir. Please be quiet.
I said I'm talking.
Please be quiet while I'm talking, sir.
1 minute.
Don't try to interrupt my question.
1 minute.
All right.
You better push on.
Now, you better push on, dude.
Yeah, okay.
Now, my question is, because they voted not to give our emergency vehicles have gas, which, again, we can't call for emergency with our police department. I want to know, is there any protocols in place for an emergency such as that that you can still bypass them voting no, so that our village won't have an emergency where people can't be saved. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any other?
Go ahead.
Just got up here. Give me a second. I gotta collect myself.
Okay, come on.
Yeah.
Kathy Betcher. I was told that I was being disrespectful to the trustees because I made a comment on Facebook. Now, after some soul searching, I have to admit I was being disrespectful, and I apologize. That being said, I expect that everyone, trustees, residents, Facebook pages, all respect everyone. The fraudulent or fanatical for, that is disrespectful. You allowed it through all of the campaigning. I made a slight disrespectful comment and was called on it. And I don't appreciate it. What's good for one should be good for all. And I'm asking that everyone in this room, in this village, be respectful of everyone else. Residents, trustees, mayor, Facebook pages. We have someone that doesn't even live in the village who continues to stir the pot, and we allow it. Stop reading his page, stop answering his page, and maybe he'll go away. That being said,
1 minute.
after last week's vote, I'm going to ask you, as a resident that has used the emergency services of this village more than once, to think hard before you vote, and vote your conscience, and vote as you would want us to vote. I'm not going to say anything else. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Dr. Tanya Winston. I just want to kind of talk about some things, not necessarily that's happening here in the village, but things that are happening in the world that is trickling down to our village. We're living through times of uncertainty, from global conflicts and economic instability to natural disasters and public health concerns. The world feels heavy, and that weight is being felt here at home. What may seem like distant issues are already hitting our local families hard. Inflation, food insecurity, housing instability, and mental health challenges are real and growing. And unfortunate recent and proposed federal cuts are making things even harder, especially for people earning less than $75,000 a year. Let me be specific. The SNAP program, which helped low-income families buy groceries, is facing proposed cuts of $200 billion over the next decade. Medicaid and Affordable Care Act, which so many depend on for health care, could be reduced of up to $1 trillion, including CHIP, Children Health Insurance Program. Housing assistance, Section 8. Cuts could increase rent by over 40% for millions of families. The LIHEAP program, which helps low-income households with heating and cooling costs, is at a risk of being eliminated. And there are proposals to cut SSI for children with disabilities and TANF, a critical program for families in crisis. Many people don't realize how much we depend on federal funding through the Department of Justice, but cuts and policy shifts has directly impacted community like ours in several key ways. Community policing grants, program for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, eliminating funds for legal aid, and funding for juvenile justice and youth programs. These are just numbers. There are people in our neighborhoods, grandparents, working parents, veterans, children, who feel the effect immediately. And when federal programs are scaled back, it's our local community that's left to carry the burden. Our churches, our non-for-profits, and village departments. This is why it's so important for Sauk Village to stay strong, united, and proactive. Thank you.
No, we do not do that.
But you can keep reading this if you want.
I don't know where you're going, but it sounds good, and it's definitely true, and it's something to ponder on and to think about versus frivolous things.
You can start talking.
Ma'am, I'm an adult, and I'm
I know, but you still.
My name is Marquetta Smith, and I'm going to continue reading. These aren't just numbers. These are people in our neighborhoods, grandparents, working parents, veterans, children, who would feel the effects immediately. And when federal programs are scaled back, it's our local communities that's left to carry the burden. Our churches, our non-for-profits, our village departments. That's why it's so important that Sauk Village stay strong, united, and proactive. I urge our local leadership to keep our government transparent and responsive, support access to food, housing, mental health services, and emergency aid. Foster open dialogue so our community stays connected and informed, and build stronger partnerships with neighboring towns to share resources and support. I appreciate the work you're doing on behalf of the residents. Let's continue to build a village that protects the vulnerable, uplifts the struggling, and stands strong together no matter what's happening beyond our borders. Thank you for your time and opportunity to speak tonight. Trustees, Mayor, Clerk.
Thank you. Very good.
David Smith, resident. First, I want to clarify a few things with some comments. I believe that the trustees voted no on the accounts payable last week because at least one trustee was not given a valid copy of the accounts payable to review. During the previous board, they were applauded when they didn't get certain invoices, when they started to boycott the meetings, and when they refused to vote on the accounts payable. So now it just seems very hypocritical when the current board, without proper documentation, what they feel is proper documentation, and what technically is proper documentation, when they take a similar stand. They're not ducking and dodging their responsibility by failing to show up. They're here, they're present. For the record, in my opinion, the accounts payable would have been voted on. It possibly might have been amended if it would have been possible, but you can't amend what you can't see. So the finger technically should be pointed at the culprit who failed to give out the proper documentation. So I heard another comment about respect. Let's stop promoting false narratives. Do your research. Get your facts straight before you just run with any narrative, because that is very divisive and it looks some type of way. And that's what leads to this toxic culture that we have. Now for my questions. Regarding the recommendation from the internal auditor, who's going to run our finance department in the meantime if we just pay an auditor $150,000 for a few months? Who's going to take over those responsibilities during the time that the audit is going on and after, when that auditor is gone? because obviously there's a department head in place for a reason, and those responsibilities would have to be pushed upon somebody else. And who's going to take on that responsibility? Obviously, we have people that are overworked, and that leads my question to the internal auditor, because he seems to have a lot of hats right now that technically are outside of the scope of his contract, and it's already been admitted last week. Go back and watch the footage. What are his other job responsibilities? And are there any liabilities, insurance-wise or bond-wise or anything else that would be in jeopardy if he was to make a certain type of mistake? Do we need to rein him in and make sure that he only stays within the scope of his responsibilities for liability purposes? Last question, even though my time might be out. Have we done anything about the ongoing lawsuit that the internal auditor has filed against the village? Because we owe the court an answer by May 27th. Have we found any sort of attorney representation? Because our prior attorney pulled out for lack of payment. Our failure to respond to that complaint is going to result in a default judgment.
Anthony Finch. So just a few comments. You heard about the accounts payable, so let me set the record straight. For those that do not know, I did not produce the accounts payable. I did not create the accounts payable, but I will say the young lady that followed the mayor's wishes to make sure it was on the back table took about 2 hours to create the Excel file in Excel for the accounts payable because we could not get into the Excel system of Civic. So I did not have anything to do with it, but I did share information. As far as not being able to vote on accounts payable, I can take that. But there was an email sent that did say the gas bill was due. You all took an oath. I've taken 4 oaths in my lifetime. And one of the oaths that I took for the fraternity, it said, first of all, servant of all, we shall transcend all. As I recall, nobody raised your hand when you took that oath. But when you get an email asking you to pay for gas, and instead of you worrying about paying for the gas, you worrying about what's my title, what's my responsibility, you allow your police department to sit in their building all day today without being able to get gas. You allow your ambulance not to be able to go around the village in case of emergency because you didn't want to pay one invoice. So to use the excuse that accounts payable was not given to 1 out of 8 individuals, okay, you can buy that. But when you get 2 separate emails asking you to pay for a gas bill, that, by the way, your police department came in this morning and said, we cannot have gas, and they won't have gas till about 1 o'clock tomorrow. That's the oath you took. So regardless of who are you supporting, who's supporting you, who telling you who you should vote for, who telling you to have issue with Mr. Finch, I don't live here. I got a tank of gas in my car right now, and my house is running good. Now, as far as the lawsuit, maybe, Mr. Smith, ask your former friend why he fired 5 attorneys that was against my lawsuit. Ask your former HR director where her evidence. You have a lot to say about me, and I can stand for you in front of you as a black man and say, why have you asked those people for their evidence? Now, as far as the bond, I had a surety bond, as I told you before. Why didn't the former mayor use a surety bond to prosecute me and get back the $78,000? See, if you want to control the narrative, control the narrative. Ask the real facts.
Mr. Finch,
He has, there's a surety bond that if he had, if he had the evidence, as he so-called said, as so-called Jones said, as so-called Douglas said, they would prosecute me. So it's funny how you control the narrative, but you don't want to ask the right people. Thank you.
Frank Holland.
We'll move forward.
Frank Holland. I would like to say one thing. That's very, that's defending yourself right now, that is not good either.
That's not what?
The man made a point, he made a statement. He didn't call me to come up here and defend himself. I mean, that's his right, but what I'm saying, it don't look right. It don't look good. But it don't
Excuse
look
me, sir, you're talking to me, not to
good. Okay,
others.
so it don't look good. The way I look at it is,
Excuse
last
me.
week, Miss Mayor, Madam Mayor, about 2 weeks ago, you blamed the whole lot on the previous administration. But the previous administration, most of them people, except for the two new ones, were in that same administration. 4 of those trustees would get up and walk out rather than voting on things. So the reason why you're in the trouble now is because of the clerk and the other 3 clerks walking out.
Excuse me.
I'm through with it.
Okay, thank you. Please, control, excuse me. Sir, control yourself. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Francis Herndon.
What was that last name?
Herndon.
Herndon?
Okay, so I wanted to know, why do we have to buy a village sticker? And why do we have to pay extra if you already have your pet vaccinated and everything, and you already have the stickers from, the tags from your vet? Why do we have to buy extra to be for Sauk Village?
We answer after all of the questions.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, when we come up here and you said that you're going to answer the things, and then after, how long does it take before we see results of what we asked you all for?
Anyone else? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to the very beginning when a resident asked when would we, I'm sorry?
Point of privilege.
Point of privilege, okay. When will the trees on the north side be picked up? I have recorded that concern that was placed, and I know that I am on the south side, and mine just got picked up today. Okay? So I think that between all of the weather conditions that just keep on pounding us, just not going away, the branches are there, the tree limbs are there, they pick up, they come back. I mean, you know, and they're trying. I see them out there, you know, with the mulcher, doing whatever. And so, but I will mention the north side when I speak with our director tomorrow. But just know that I am on the south side, and mine just got picked up today. Okay?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, can't read my. Okay, someone else said that they disagreed, that if 10 people want to say the same thing, they should all be able to say the same thing. We appreciate that feedback, and I'm certain before the overall document is presented that every input is going to be entertained. And that's all I can say about that. In terms of abandoned homes, I can't remember if it was abandoned homes with lawns in need of care. Was that it? Oh, okay. Yes, we have a number of issues out here with our abandoned homes. Some of them need to be demolished. Others, we need to take a greater effort to care for them or to work with them. Know that this administration, we are meeting with local, some that we worked with before, and as we look at abandoned homes, that's part of our community and economic development programming process. So we will be establishing a very formidable plan to eradicate whatever we can and come up with solutions for the others. Hopefully that answered that. Mr. McKnight, you asked for speed bumps on Lincoln, in Lincoln Meadows. So if I will make certain that we talk with Public Works tomorrow and ask them, have speed bumps come in? Do we have some? And if so, to make certain that our development is covered. I thank you for coming to represent Lincoln Meadows. As I always share with everyone, just because I live in a particular area, I am not going to always be the person that bring whatever issue that they have. That wouldn't be right. So I've asked, when they call me and tell me that there's a problem, I tell them, come talk to you guys.
And the dogs.
I'm sorry?
And the dogs in Lincoln.
Say what?
The dogs. The dogs.
Oh, the dogs. The dogs. The only thing that we can really do about those dogs, and those are some real big dogs. You all see these dogs that we're talking about. They get loose on a regular basis, and they like to visit people's homes in the area. We have to call the police. We have to just be very adamant. We have to call the police and have it reported. And hopefully they will start ticketing the individual, okay? Fire hydrants. I think that our engineer, if you think about it, Melanie Arnold comes now more than she's ever come before over the last 4 or 5 years or whatever, and she gives updates on a regular basis. And one of her last reports was looking at one of the grants that we qualified for, where they will be replacing, I think it was at least 36 fire hydrants. And their plan is to complete those by this summer. And then what they do not repair or replace, then our Public Works will be taking over that part of it. In terms of the street lights, that's on 224th and 225th in Brookwood, I think that our Public Works Director told us last week why they can't do the lights at this moment. And that is because the lift truck that they have that would go all the way up there, it was tested and it was red tagged, which means that whoever tested it found it to be unsafe, so therefore it can't be driven or used. However, we're looking at renting one, and that's going to be very expensive, but it's worth it if it curtails any type of adverse behavior. I am in agreement with the youth organization and us supporting the group organization, but this is in no way trying to convince anyone of how to vote when it comes before the board next Tuesday. I'm going to say this, and I want to be very respectful because a couple of people spoke about world issues and all of that, but at least one was able to bring it on home down to the local level. But if you think about it, if you look at number 8 on your agenda where it says public comment, and it says each speaker may comment on any matter concerning the business of the Sauk Village municipality. Okay? So I'm still going to ask that as you give your comments, make certain that it's relating to the municipality, not the individuals who may live or may not live in the municipality. And Facebook is global. It's not Sauk Village, okay? And so let's just be mindful of that. Where accounts payable is concerned, as you can see, that even today we have a trustee who had some items missing from her mailbox. When I first came on, I had to get things that locked in order to put the ordinances, to post the ordinance, because someone would always come behind me and take the ordinances and then report us to the state attorney office because the agenda hadn't gotten posted. That's how it used to be in that locked case. Then we always go through periods of time where some villain goes in other people's mailboxes and take things. I remember when I was the clerk, it would happen, and it's like, I know I put that there. You know how you know that you know that you know? But then she has a packet that has some items and not other packets. She had a packet last week that didn't have another item. There is a camera in that room, and we're gonna have to ask that it get fixed so that we can find out who that culprit is and start just calling them to task. But it's unfortunate that you come into the meeting and you do not have everything that you need. So we'll work on that. We've talked about ongoing lawsuits, liability, all of that. Who would assume responsibility if we brought in a group that would be working on. And from my understanding, when we talked about bringing in a group, they would be working on not only the audit, but they would also be doing some of our day-to-day. And I may be wrong, but that's what I thought would be happening, that we would have an overlap and it would be a group of, 1 to 4 people where we can get more accomplished for less than $5,000 more. And I thought that was a good thing until we at least can play catch up. And we have a lot of catch up to do. Mr. Finch talked and Mr. Hardy talked, and it started getting a little personal, and I'm still going to always maintain that number 8 says everything should be directed when, and once you start calling people names, as you talk about people being defensive, when you call them out, they do get defensive. And when they get defensive, they can not, I'm not pointing my finger at anyone in particular. This is just historically. When you point at people, you call their names out, they get defensive, and then they get upset. And then we have what we used to have here. Now, we've been having beautiful meetings since April the 28th. And I'm just going to appeal to each and every one of you, if we play by the rules, we gonna keep it mellow. And that's all I can ask. I can't ask for anything else, so that no one can have a need to defend themselves. Now, there was a couple of questions that I could not necessarily answer regarding the zoning application. So I'm going to ask that anyone that quickly, because it is 10, so now I'm not telling the truth again. Anyone that have a question for this young lady to please ask, and can you answer quickly? Yes, ma'am. Because this is not going to be the first time that you will have to come before this board to communicate. It's not the only time, okay? Anyone have a question for her? Yes, Miss Trustee Sapp.
So you have a facility, you have a house in a residential location. Have you actually spoken with the residents in that area to see how they feel about the program that you're bringing into their area? And my second question is, how are you receiving your clients? Are they referred to you through the state or through the prison system? How do you get them?
Okay, the first question, that's why I'm here, is when we purchased the house. My business partners, they all live here in Illinois. I live in Florida, but I handle all of the administrative stuff and all the grant writing stuff. And when I contacted Sauk Village, they told me, who I spoke to told me the first step would be to come and request zoning approval. Once we get zoning approval, that there will be a letter sent out to all the residents to let them know what's going on, and then that they would come back with feedback. So that's why we didn't take it upon ourselves to contact the residents, but we do have good neighbor letters that we have put together that explains our program and what we're trying to do. It is a residential home. There's not going to be any major traffic. It's not going to be in and out. It's just going to be women just living together, going through a program where we're walking them through starting over in a way. But we are not currently running. We're just starting with the first step, which is requesting zoning approval. In regards to the referrals, we are getting certified through IDHS. Zoning is also a part of that. Once we are certified through IDHS, we will get our referrals through the Department of Health. We'll also get referrals through the Department of Justice in regards to people that need to be. But it's not going to be like a advertisement, marketing, anybody type of resident. It's going to be through the systems, if that answers the question.
Trustee Burns?
So basically, when you did buy the home, you did buy this home for this purpose?
No, actually we purchased the home and we renovated the home, and we were going to have it just, my business partner lives up here and that was going to be her home. So what I do is I certify recovery homes, and once we talked and we got this program together, then she decided that's what she'd like to do with the home. So we decided what would be the first step, which would be to get the zoning, and that's why we're here.
Okay, so you bought it as a residential home,
Correct.
not as a, now you're going to take a residential
Correct.
home and turn it into a
Right.
business.
Well, it's a program. Well, it's better fitted to be a residential home for what we're doing, is because when people are coming home and they're starting over, we want to put them in a natural environment where we're helping you with job readiness and financial literacy, so that now when you're able to move on your own, it's not a foreign subject to you. So
Okay.
that's why we're choosing a residential format.
So you bought the home as a residential, which means it's in someone's name,
Right.
but you're going to move a business in there called Tangible Dreams?
Yes, we are a 501c organization. We're actually working with Strong Communities program in Illinois that helps renovate and rehabilitate abandoned homes, actually. So we're actually working to getting more homes, residential homes, once we get through this one. But that's, like I said, I'm from Florida, and that's what we do like throughout the states, is we get residential homes and we certify them through either the NAR affiliate for that state or the Department of Health of that state, and we turn them into recovery homes.
And do you have an inspection from the state of Illinois to come out and approve? Because I know when you do daycare, you do group homes.
This is the first step, yeah.
Okay.
And then they'll come out and look. Once we pass zoning, then we'll submit our application through IDHS with the zoning approval, if granted, and then they'll come out and do all the other inspections that's needed. But we are, I pride myself in being by the book because I don't like to look over my shoulders, so we are going through each step to make this happen.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, ma'am. We will hear from you again, as I said, and we will refer it to zone. Well, we have to vote on it next week, whether or not we will refer it to the zoning board of appeals, and then it goes through the next few processes. Okay? Okay. We have a couple of other things on the agenda, and I know someone is probably thinking that I did not answer your question, and I did not answer somebody's question purposely because it's part of the one of the last items that's on the agenda, okay? But any trustees have any comments at this moment? Trustee Johnson.
Mayor, I would like to inform you, I did hear, because I did talk to the clerk today on my village phone, And she did inform me that she sent out an email after 3 o'clock in the morning. The last email I received on my village phone was at 3 something this morning. So she did tell me that it was a state of emergency you placed out of the email. I was waiting to see if you was going to announce it, but you didn't. So what I'm trying to tell you is I got locked out of my village email at 10:30 in the morning.
10:30 this morning?
Yes, 10:30 this morning. You see this? How's it IT if we don't have an IT company? So whoever is working in the village had to do this. Our email addresses is a .org. You can't do it from your home. You have to be here with a .org. I can't even reset it. You see that? No. Can you pass it to her, please? I'm just trying to be transparent with you. If you scroll down, you will see your last email was 3 something in the morning, asking was we going to the breakfast. If you put out a state of emergency, Mayor, I don't think that is right for the person who's operating in this village to log me out of my email. And it's village business. But they just told on themselves up there at the podium. How would that person know that I didn't answer my emails if they're not snooping in my emails? Make it make sense. I don't like it. This is dirty business. And I'm begging you to fix it. This is not cool for us in this board. Remember, this board voted him in for internal auditing, and he's honestly not doing it. This stuff that was category up under his section, I would have appreciated it if you would have brought it. That's all I'm asking. Let's move right. That information should have been disseminated down to you so you can make those announcements, because that's not his place. And Madam Mayor, I have his contract again in his agreement in my book. If you want to review it, I have no problem with giving it to you. But I feel he needs to stay in his category. The board voted him in as an internal auditor. Stay in that category. That's all I'm asking.
Mayor?
Yes, you may.
I think that because this is really like a personnel issue, I think that it would be better served played out in an executive closed session.
I didn't say his name.
No, but we know that it's a personnel issue who you're talking about. So I think it would be better served if we handle that in executive closed session. So.
And I could agree.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything to say before?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay, I want to make sure I'm very, very clear. There's several individuals that will get up and start talking about the wonderfulness of the programs. All these programs are wonderful, but we are a village, and as easy as it is to sue us, it is our responsibility to make sure that we dot all of our I's and cross all of our T's. So we have group homes in this village, we have Airbnbs in the village, it's all kind of things that's going on in our village. We have businesses that's open in our village and we don't have any clue about any of this. So again, it is our responsibility as trustees that when businesses come, it doesn't matter whether they're coming here for our children or to help women, it doesn't matter. We want all of that, but it still has to be structured properly, because again, it is too easy for the village to get sued by using our names, by doing all kinds of things. So we just want to make sure that the mayor approves names, that we approve programs before someone just start programs and just start businesses, all in the name of the village and all these things. We just want to make sure that things is put decent, in order, and that is certified through our mayor, through our board. And if anything happened, we can come to our village. You have your paperwork to say, It's been certified by the mayor. No questions asked. So we want whomever comes into the village to do whatever business they want to do, it needs to be certified properly. Now, we support it all, but we also have to make sure that it's done decently, it is in order, and is certified through the office of the mayor. Point blank, because from what I see is a lot of individual people, individual residents opening up a lot of different businesses in their own names, but they're just moving in this village. So we need to reel it in, do it properly, so that the trustees and the mayor knows what's going on in our own village. That's one thing. The other thing is, there are 5 trustees, there will soon be 6. We don't all vote the same, we don't all talk the same, and we don't all have the same committees. I do ask that if it's a particular trustee that you need to address, you should be able to address your elected officials. Because I don't need anyone having a misconstruing that I or whomever was doing or saying something and I wasn't. If a particular trustee have a particular issue that they want to address, then you need to say who that trustee is. Because none of us want to be counted when we should not be counted in something we should not be counted for. So we are adults. If you say my name, you say my name, because you need to address my issue or my concern. And whatever trust that it is, you need to take accountability, any of us, and address that without being angry, getting upset, or any of that kind of stuff. We are adults, we are elected officials, and every elected official needs to stand on their own. And if a resident or a business need to address a trustee, they need to be able to address that trustee. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything that they want to say? I would like to rebut some of what you said, Trustee Burns. A lot of it had a lot of validity. The only thing that I'm going to invite you to do, where not referring to each other as the trustee, I'm just going to ask that you revisit parliamentary procedures. It addresses it in there. And that's all that I have to say there. But in terms of the mayor's comment, I passed out, and it's interesting that you mentioned it, but I passed out the email that was sent to you today at 12. This says 12:38. I know it was before that. But I sent this out to you guys today with the information, and this is also answering someone's question about what will we do when we do not have the gas, or we're not paying the bills and all of that. So what I did was, there is a portion under state law where local officials can, the mayor or president, however you would call it, can call for a proclamation for emergency services. And that is what I exercised today. We developed that I did what was necessary to lay out the resolution, as well as getting it notary acknowledged the way I need to, and I did send out an email letting our trustees know what was impacted. But then it's really weird, because as soon as I push send for this, then we got a notice that one of our major insurance policies was canceled unless we paid right away. So that did not get on here, but I did attempt to just very boldly let you know which one of the bills that was on accounts payable last week that did not get passed, that was negatively impacting us, like the one for Heritage, that tanked. the heritage was few. This morning, when I was notified that the tank was completely empty, we knew that we had to act on it, okay? Because if it was you, your child, your mother, or relative or whatever, that had a medical emergency and our ambulances couldn't get to you, that would have been very unfortunate. And so, therefore, I mean, the 911 system, and you know, when you look at some of the causes, things get shut off, but the cost isn't that much. You know, it doesn't cost that much to get all of these turned back on. So everybody is coming at us. I told you this last week. Everybody's coming at us for their money because we've not been paid. I can't wait for us to get out of this. When I was younger, I couldn't stand when my bill collectors were calling me all the time. Now I'm being called and emailed and all of that on somebody else's bills. We've got to bring this together, okay? So we have another opportunity to get this right next time. But I am going to ask, and I honestly understand you're not being able to utilize email. You're not the only one. Believe it or not now, quite a few of you are using your own emails. In fact, I don't think anybody, I know these four are not using the village. Okay, babe, I see you. I see you. Okay. I see it. Okay. These four I know are not using a village email. That doesn't make it right. But it's just a piece that needs to be righted, that we've got to firm up and get back together. But they've never had, a couple of them never had it. I don't think hers has ever worked since she's been here, and she's into her second term. So we've been using hers for whatever, and we had to use hers for a while, then we were able to use her village, and I'm just back to using her personal. It's not a good practice that we use any of your personal emails or phone numbers. But we're still trying to work on getting you guys your mobile phones so that you don't have to use your personal. We're working, we're trying, but our hands are tied at this point because I can't think of any bill that we paid on time in a very long time. Republicans even talking about stop picking up our garbage. Can you imagine what a funk that's going to be? Yes, okay. And I'm sorry to keep you, Trustee Johnson. You were going to say?
With this email, was you asking for a consensus for us when you emailed this to us?
No.
Because it's mighty funny, you emailed this at 12:38, my phone was off from emails at 10:30 in the morning. This is you calling for a state of emergency, and I didn't get this.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that you didn't get it.
And I'm sorry, but I also found out the person, it has to be a person who established a village email for the new 2 trustees. It came from here. I can give you their village ORG, whatever they email address for the village. That has to be established inside the village.
Their email is not set up.
It is set up. You want to see my phone? It's set up because when you send out an email as a chain, it comes up. Here you go, you can view it again.
No, she's saying that she does not get village email.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it came from here. One of your people who work here created them too a village email. That same person is the one who was able to turn my emails off.
Let us research this tomorrow and not before the court. Let's research this and really further explore.
The reason I'm doing this is because you just told me you declare a state of an emergency.
Yes.
And you send it to an email. I didn't get it.
And I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'm one of your main trustees that always answer your emails, and you know that. I've been doing it for 2 years.
Okay, we're not gonna point fingers, just as the
I'm
gentleman
telling you
said
facts.
Okay, and it may
I don't
be a
appreciate
fact.
it, so I'm going to report this. Thank you for doing the state of emergency. That's going to help my case.
You're more than welcome. Anytime I can help you, let me know. I would like to invite each and every one of you to join us on Monday, the 26th, for Memorial Day celebration of those who have fallen, but then also those who are still with us, but yet they served. It's going to be a little different this year in that all of our honorees will be up here, and all of you will be acknowledging them in whatever way. And there is space for a number of you, I mean, even if it's just to share with them a quote that I was able to find and or one that you're able to find, okay? I think that it's going to be quite special, and I would like to see you on the 26th at 11 o'clock. They're going to start outside at the memorial, and they're going to line up according to the area of service, and they're going to file in very graciously. And then I'm hoping that as they start filing in, you would stand up apart to receive them. But then, as I say, you know, there will be opportunities for you to participate. So it's going to be a very interactive type event that's going to honor those who honored us with their service. Okay? So hopefully I can count on your being there. There was something else that I wanted to say. Village Hall will be closed on Monday for business, but we will have that activity, and we're going to have light refreshments after that. I do want to thank those of you who have been coming to Village Hall from time to time to volunteer, to assist us with answering the telephones, assist with filing, or just however you can be of service. We do thank you. And right now, with our bare bones operation, your services and your support is greatly needed. So I thank you. And with that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn? May we agree by common consent? Yes. Thank you. Have a good night and be safe going home.